nice.
It works.
Oh, man.
That's really
It
well.
works.
Stop balancing.
There you go. Just get it?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave. Mask is upside down.
What is?
Yep.
Put it on. I got the door open.
Well, I'm trying to.
You know, they don't work if they're upside down.
I know.
They do work.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right.
Oh, that's probably.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I don't have any public here. I've not got dialed in yet. See anything there?
Oh, she worked her 1970 one too.
You need
Yeah, matching up pretty good there.
That's the only reason why I wore this was just from a reporter over there.
Okay. Don't see any on the screen up there either. So go ahead and move on to administrative business. We all got an email from Deidre on the COVID update. 7 active cases, total of 59 total cases.
It's also on the table in front of you if you need it. Yeah.
Okay. So I just putting it out there so everybody else can hear it.
Just while you're talking about that, how do you think that the general public can see that on our screen? Do they understand more now?
Well,
Much easier to understand.
yeah, it's getting better with the dashboard.
Yeah.
That made a big difference.
I did have a bunch of people approaching me about zip codes. I said, you know, that you start thinking about that, and if you were gonna go out and go buy something at one of those towns, and a zip code pops up, are you gonna forego it and maybe go to a person where you don't know where the numbers are? So I think it's best just to leave that out of it. So. Anyway, move on
Okay,
to.
you ready for administrative?
Yeah.
Okay, in your packet, you did have information from the Department on Aging. Just for review. We do have the 2019 real estate appraisal sales ratio official review of the appraiser that's in your packet. And so they did meet the standards that were set by the state. In your packet, you had the copy of the county budget after Scott made the changes to it. I think that there was $40 extra that came in on the tax lid that he did not have in there before. So the levy rate was just slightly different than what you talked about. Point, I don't have it there, but he pulled all the full 232,776 in.
Right. Did see on that, page number 2.
Okay.
At the bottom, it calls, says, does this county need to hold an election? Is that?
Page 2.
I believe it's page 1, my bad, sorry.
Where it says exemption from election reform?
It says yes on here. So he may have a number just slightly off.
Needs to be addressed, because there's no way we can have,
No,
we missed the
there's
deadline.
not. No,
Or we didn't miss the deadline, elected not to.
right. And I can get with him right after the meeting. It's probably just a $1.
Okay.
I'll have to look at this. This is. Okay.
Yes, I. Power right there.
I'll double check that with him. Were there any other questions about the actual budget itself?
I didn't see any, I mean, I couldn't go through it. Maybe not as thoroughly as Tina, but I could go pretty well line by line.
Seems like you got everything worked out, whatever the employee benefit and all that.
Yeah, the tax lid money that he put it into the employee benefit fund.
Mhm.
So, again, we'll publish, it'll go to the paper and be published this week, and our hearing will be on the 24th. So if there's time between now and then, you can come down, you can make changes. You just can't go up at that time, so.
I was gonna check, did he pull out the 1.5 on commissioner salary?
I don't believe so, but it's in the general fund, and those line item adjustments can be made
Okay.
before we adopt the final budget.
Okay. Yeah. Did see, what was it, a reduction, I thought, Commissioner Long.
Well,
From 1 year to the
I
other.
saw one that showed it in there, and then I saw another one that looked like it had been taken out, so. Usually he's pretty thorough about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, the budget for 2020, the budget for 2021 is reduced.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
So,
That was mostly for information, or if you have changes, I will follow up on the issue with the certificate page, just to make sure that we didn't plug a number in wrong. And I'm sure we did, but it would be,
we can't.
Right. Well, that's obvious.
That can't say yes.
right, exactly, that cannot say yes. Good catch. Okay, any other,
No.
are we ready to move on to the
Yeah.
minutes?
Mhm.
Okay, have the minutes of July 31st.
We had a chance to review the minutes of July 31st. Any concerns?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 31st meeting.
Second. Got a motion by Kent, second by Randy. Any other discussion? I don't see.
Her microphone is green, so she's ready to vote, it looks like.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, very good. 5-0. Everyone. It's gonna be the same person.
We do have some supplements, value changes for the 2020 tax roll. These are just for review.
Phone's going nuts today.
That's it.
Yeah.
also registered in Marion County. It's Reno County.
What is this? Yeah.
You have salary sheets.
I do.
Okay. So a salary change for the courthouse, Sherilyn Buller,
Buller, she's a new
new custodian.
custodian.
So from basically 0 to 1907 a month.
Do you have different focuses on this position this time, Tina, or are you saying
Well,
focus is what you?
Right, I'm still short one. I need another one that is more maintenance focused.
Okay.
This position right now is focusing mainly on cleaning and a few just really minor day-to-day other
Okay.
types of tasks.
So,
So I'm still have a vacancy.
Yeah, better do that. Better do
I do
that.
have the clock taken care of right now in the lawn, so.
So we have a salary change for ambulance, Tim Vogel, $12.25 an hour to 13. Obtained AEMT certification.
Just a reminder, make sure you're speaking loud enough and speaking to your microphones.
Got a salary change for Special Bridge, it's Gina Hardy, from $23.10 a month to $23.56 a month, 1 year raise.
And that last one, I don't know if you want to wait, I know there's an executive session later in the day, so I don't know if that pertains to it at all.
Yeah, I think we got to.
Going back.
Okay, so in your packet, you had a document from the city of Florence, and they are looking to raise the rates for the trash service at the county lake.
When that was first started, was that a bid process?
Yes, it was.
I mean, is that something that needs to be looked at again? I mean, I like to see the business stay within the county, but I don't know. Does the city of Marion want to do it? Does Waste Connections want to do it?
I would like to see too, whether the 5 is needed through from October or so to what we really need. You know, I mean, do we, because they pull them back, and do we need to have just 1 or 2? I mean, through the winter months.
As it should know.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering at this point if that is something that needs to be rebid.
How many years is this contract?
Oh, since 2013.
Okay, so that's 7 years. Probably ought to look at rebid.
And it
every
does,
3.
I mean, it does reduce the amount of pickups to twice a month during the winter on here.
Overall cost per year.
$95 per month, and then
6
$130, $750.
I think that was bid when we did this, even if I remember right. I think City of Marion bid in, I'm not for sure, yeah, but
Well,
It was bid when we did this, yes.
I'm just wondering if that's something that, needs to be done. Is that the prudent thing to do?
yeah.
I know trash rates have gone up.
Yes,
I just
yes.
know that.
Yes.
But I guess we really don't know without bidding.
That's the bottom line, that's, we don't know without bidding.
I mean,
I guess I really don't know what trash fees should be. I mean, it didn't strike me as something that was out of line, I guess.
no, I don't know that it's out. I'm just saying, is that a contract that we should rebid when it comes up?
Well, this was just a kind of an ongoing contract, and they're just saying that they need to increase the rates. It's a rate increase for an existing contract.
So
It doesn't mean you can't go ahead and bid that out,
So
but
this
you
was
would want to,
This was an open-ended contract?
yeah,
And
it was.
this agreement continued for 3 years.
That's what they're stating on this new one.
Yeah.
So you could still do an RFP and bid that out, bid that out.
The only thing I would say that now, I mean, it's neither here nor there, but did they purchase a new truck or a newer truck continuing on this lease? If we did that, I would at least make this a 1 year so they can get prepared or something, do this for a year and then bring it up to bids or you, that's.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
whether, I mean, I'm sure that they need the business to sustain what they're doing, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's on the way from Florence to the transfer
Right.
station.
yeah,
I mean, conceivably, they should give us the best rate probably, but,
yeah.
we need to make sure that the taxpayers are getting the best deal that they can get.
Right.
So, I guess I wouldn't be against a 1-year extension to it. But then
With
put
the
it
intentions.
on the calendar to be bid.
Yes.
So we're looking at an overall total for the year, $3,795.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I just was bringing up the question.
Forbidden.
So, I mean, I don't have any problem with that dollar amount for a year extension. We want to just go ahead and have them change the language.
For a year.
For a
and
year.
If they don't like that, then if they throw it back at us, then maybe we put it up.
Well, we'll have to go up a bit.
Yes,
which is-
right.
So we'll throw it for a year and then, in my opinion,
You wanna make a motion to
Yeah,
that?
I'd make a motion that we change the contract length for 1 year due to the question been brought up that we haven't, put this up for vote or bid. So with that being said, I'd like to offer their contract for 1 year with the information, let them know that it will be bid next year at this time.
The new rate was short.
Except the new rate, yeah.
Yeah.
we got a motion. Second?
Also,
Second by Kent. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. 5-0.
Is this one we're gonna sign?
That's one of the ones that we'll sign. On the table, you have an extension for the lease for the Panzer Building for planning and zoning. I have 2 copies here. I apologize, I didn't get that in your packet. And Diane, I didn't know you weren't gonna be here, so I didn't send it to you. There are no changes.
I should have told you. She told me late last night.
Okay, there are no changes to it, but it is a 3-year lease.
That's what it was prior, wasn't it? 3 years?
Yes, yeah, and then we have the ability to extend it, but, yeah.
I'd just like to tell the commission, as I mentioned, I'd like to look at the lease with the hospital up here. This would be a lease that I would look at and take these leases that we have, plus some others, the one with Hillsborough for the storage of equipment, and see if we can turn the amount of dollars that we have with all the leases into a payment to pay for our building. That's what I'd like to look at.
The lease, Hillsborough, that's with Countryside, right?
Fee, yeah, co-op,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Just, I didn't know of any with Hillsborough.
Not with City Hillsborough, yeah, but it's where our equipment's stored in Hillsborough's co-op building,
Yeah.
yes. So, I don't know how long or when that lease comes up, but 3 years still gives us time on this one to have a building and prepared and be ready to do something with, so. It's not out of range, because it's gonna take a while to put something in. But that's just so everybody knows where we're at and what we might be looking at.
I think it's a good idea.
To look at it.
We've talked about this building over here, and we have a
Years.
place for it, and, you know, money's issue.
Yes, yes.
And you just wanna see if our payments could match up with something
Yes.
that a lease purchase could
Right.
wind us up. Yeah. But as far as this agreement for the 3 years, is there,
So it's identical to what we've been doing with it.
wow. So,
And I think it works out good for planning and zoning, it's right here.
So, guess I entertain a motion to approve.
I'd make that motion to approve the contract for the 3 years with,
Panther
Planning and zoning building.
Okay, got a motion, do I get a second? I'll second it. I gotta sign it, so I was trying to get there somebody else to do the motion in a second, so.
I have to abstain,
Yeah, okay, that's right.
my daughter-in-law.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I knew it, I just didn't know it was directly related.
Right.
I
I
mean,
why you so quiet then?
No.
Learn something every day, don't we, Dave?
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those
Aye.
abstaining? Okay, all those abstaining?
Aye.
4 with 1 abstention.
Okay. Can I get you to go ahead and sign both?
Thank you for saying something, because,
Yeah.
I mean, so we don't later
I
on.
understand.
Yeah.
Thanks. Sometimes you think about stuff like that.
But I still would have said the same thing, and that's my plan
Yeah.
to look at that, because I think somewhere, I think the county needs to break some of these leases out, if we
Oh,
can
yeah.
continue.
Just tuck that up.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think that's all the administrative I have right now. The rest of the things that I had ahead of time in your packet were for scheduled agenda times, so.
Yeah. All right. Move on to Barney and Associates.
Okay, can I sit where I'm at?
You
So
can-
They won't be able to hear you on the
It'd be
call.
closer to the mic.
sorry.
All
right. Am I still 6 feet from Dave?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
so.
Close enough.
Dave,
April Swartz, I'm one of the owners at Barney and Associates, and this is our 2nd year to perform the audit for this Marion County. And this year was strange because we did it all remotely. Tina and her staff sent everything to us electronically, and we performed all of the work from our office. So I do miss the shopping, the eating, and all of that, but I have found that our staff are pretty efficient. Some of them are working from home, some were in our office. We built a brand new building in Manhattan, and we had no one in it. It was crazy. So, you know, we built this 2-story beautiful multi-million-dollar building, and we had like 7 people there most of the year so far, so.
Probably just IT staff.
Yeah, well, and even IT worked from home. We had one guy that would come in sometimes, but most of them have come back to work now. We have had a few that decided they really like working from home, so they're just gonna continue to work from home, so. It's interesting. It is a really nice building though. If you ever get to Manhattan, stop in and see us. And we're right on Points Avenue, and it's built out of limestone to match all the other buildings in town, and
So
so.
you're not in Aggieville anymore?
We were kind of downtown, but now we are right on Points, down about 2 blocks from the City Hall, City Park and City Hall. So, anyway, the audit went very well. The letter that's loose inside the front of your burgundy binder is our standard communication with governance. There are no issues to report, so it's a clean letter. I won't go through it. The only thing I will mention is that the financial statements are your responsibility as commissioners, and our job is to issue an opinion as to whether we feel they're fairly stated. So although we do put it together, we do send it. Tina does provide all of the back schedules to us ahead of time as far as her totals. And then we prepare the financials, and then we send them back to Tina for a thorough review. And so, as you know, the reason Scott stepped away from doing your audit and your budget and everything together was because of that division. And so you are lucky to have a county clerk that has the skill and the knowledge and the experience to know what's in this financial statement. Not all counties, cities, schools are that lucky. So we are very fortunate to be able to be your auditors. We very much appreciate it. We have been working with Scott a lot this year because we talked about the Spark monies, and our firm really didn't want to get involved in the Spark, and so I said, hey, is your firm getting involved? Well, he said, let me see. So they decided to, so we referred all of our county audit clients to him for Spark work because of, again, the separation. And then we're in trade doing some work for him on a city that he needed some help on, so. The audit report itself, there were no adjustments to the numbers that Tina would have presented to you for the December 31, 2019 reports. So if you'll turn to page 3 and 4, this is going to be a brief presentation. There were no changes, there were no adjustments. So the numbers, like I said, are exactly what you would have seen at the end of the year. But pages 3 and 4 are the financial statement, and they give you a snapshot of the county for the year. Down the left-hand side are all the different funds that you have at the county. Then we begin with your beginning cash, add back any encumbrances that may have been canceled, add receipts for the year, subtract the expenditures, and come to an ending unencumbered cash balance. That is the amount you have to roll forward on your budget for next year. We then add back the outstanding encumbrances and accounts payable to get to the ending true bank balance for cash. So if you'll look at page 4, at the bottom, the middle of the page, the dark bolded numbers, you'll see that total county funds, the first bolded number from the top, you started with $11,491,000, you ended the year with $13,234,000. And then we do add the Extension Council as a related municipal entity. They get added in, and so overall the reporting entity total is $13,317,000. And then there below, you can see where all that money is as far as whether it's in a checking, if it's cash, checking, CDs, municipal investment pool, and then the money held by the Extension Council. So that looks like a lot of cash, but then you see we do back out almost $16 million in agency funds, and that's the money you're holding on behalf of others. So that's tax collections you've made that will be remitted out, and other such funds that actually belong to others. Any questions on that? All right, the next several pages are the footnotes, and let's just go to page 9. The notes just give you more information to better understand your financials. But page 9 is actually a summary of the debt for the county. As you can see, you have one general obligation bond outstanding, and you only owe almost $149,000 on that bond, and that will be paid off. You have a revolving fund loan with the Kansas Department of Transportation, and then you have several equipment leases. So all payments were made timely and in accordance with amortization schedules that we found there were no issues. And if you'll turn then to the next page, 10, that will give you the maturity of all that debt over the course of the next 5 years. With principal at the top and interest at the bottom. And then if you'll turn to page number 15,
Just wanna make sure, what's the general obligation bond for, Tina?
I'm sorry?
What's that general obligation bond to?
What was it for?
I'm sorry.
It's
I
a
was trying to-
2017.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
all
I
right.
was not following along because I was trying to send this to Diane so she would have a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
What page is it?
He's asking about the debt on page 9.
Okay. Sorry about that. It's probably our radios for the,
Oh,
yes. It's that's the county radios.
okay,
The
cool.
district radios are all finished. We had a lease purchase on those, but we did that through USDA and that was a bond
Yes,
for the radios.
thank
What's the
you.
duration of that bond?
It was 7 or 8 years, I believe.
Yeah, it pays out, the maturity date is 23. It's right there in the middle of the
okay, I
page.
didn't see
Yeah.
it in the middle there. All right.
Sorry about that.
No,
Thank you.
And then on page 15 is where we compare each fund. As you know, you're limited to, what you can spend is based on your budget that you publish, and then you're also limited to cash. And so there were no violations by the county on any kind of statute, so you had no negative cash and you had no budget violations. And this page 15 shows you by fund what your certified budget was, and then what your actual expenditures were, and then your over or under budget. And you were actually under budget by $11,600,000.
Part of that is that we did not make those transfers to so that you would be able to build your cash along with it.
And then I'll go through the general fund, which is the largest, the general operating fund of the county. It starts on page 16, and just show you kind of the layout. On page 16, your far left column is your prior year numbers. 2019 columns gives you the actual amount and the budgeted amount, and then the variance over or under. So the first 2 pages are receipts, 16 and 17. So if you turn to page 17, the last number on that page, you will see that your actual receipts were $6,110,000, and your budgeted receipts were $4,008,000. Now, you do always budget conservatively, but you did collect $1.2 million more than you had budgeted to collect.
Which is,
And a big piece of that, the Diamond Vista income,
Yes.
is $713,000.
So those were the reimbursements for the engineering. So we did have expenses,
On the other
and then
side.
that was offset by that. And then we also had our pilot money that did come in.
And then the pages 18 through page 21 are the expenditures for the general fund. And the general fund is large enough that you have different departments. So we can start off looking at the very first department is the commission. So you can see your prior year expenditures, your current year expenditures, your budget, and then your variance. And as you know, the budget law applies to funds in total. So if you're over on a line, it does not matter. If you're over in a department, it does not matter. What matters is the bottom line on page 21 that shows total expenditures of $4.9 million and budgeted of $6.3. So overall, the general fund was under budget. So again, being over on the line doesn't matter. It's more of a management operating type tool. And I won't, again, go through each of these departments because, like we said in the beginning, nothing changed from what you've seen already for the 2019 year. Are there any questions? And then all the rest of the pages are all the additional funds of the county, laid out that same way. Budget actual. For funds that aren't budgeted, then you obviously will just have actual. And of course, if you have any questions after you read this thoroughly, which I'm sure you all will, don't hesitate to email us with questions. And we work for you all year round. We're here for more than just the audit. We're here for consulting. We tried to help Tina during COVID as best we could. Man, the information changed from one minute to the next, trying to keep up on payroll and all the different things. But it doesn't cost any extra. We're here as a resource, so make sure you utilize that. Well, if there are no questions, that would be all I have.
I would just like to say thank you to you for speaking up to the working relationship that we have with you and your associates, because we do have some people, good people here that like Tina, yeah, so, and that makes it better for everybody.
It does, it does. You know, we go to some entities where there's discourse between the offices and accounting.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, people don't always get along, but it is nice when they do. It just makes a big difference, so. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
And I'll send you those instructions.
Wonderful, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Way quicker than I thought it was gonna go. All right. So, county appraiser, I don't know if Lisa's around yet. Don't see her on here.
Don't see her yet. I can give her a call.
Anybody need a recess or anything?
We'll see what she's doing,
Ah,
see what Lisa's doing, what she's made together.
Staying on schedule.
There she is.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how are you doing today?
Morning.
Morning.
Good. You guys mind if I take this off to talk? Am I at a safe distance? I have some things I need to go over with you guys, and it will actually be in regards to personnel. I don't know if you want me to start talking in open session, or if you want to go to executive.
Is it
Does it-
personnel performance?
Does it pertain to individuals?
It will, yes.
Then you need to do that in executive session.
We need to start off that way then.
So if we're gonna go into executive session, Diane, do you want me to send you the other link so that you can just click on that and come in on your, using your computer sound?
Should we call it a cell phone?
She's speaking, it's just not coming through. Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Her mic goes to a speaker, so I mean, her side is triggering.
Okay, well, she was coming through before, but not now, so. Are you able to just call in, Diane, on the executive?
Yeah, I'll just call her.
Okay,
We'll just-
Jonah's gonna call you.
Maybe with the drop down of this, resurface the meeting when we come back out, it'll clear up any issues we have. So, I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss, employee personnel, for item number 1,
How long?
How long?
Probably 15 minutes.
for item number 1, personal matters, non-elected personnel.
I think that you also need to include that it's to discuss the performance of individual employees.
Okay. Thought I said that. That's okay. To include the performance of specific individuals for a time of 15 minutes with Lisa and the board pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. We will resume back in open session at 9:50.
May I request Tina stay?
Mhm.
Okay.
55.
Yeah, be on.
9:55
With Tina, she asked for Tina too.
with Tina.
Okay.
He's back up.
Well, for sure.
Ken, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is for Mike.
No, see, it's, she's trying.
Okay.
Okay.
Need to get an official from her.
Who's in charge of that?
Okay, I'm gonna,
Hello.
are you getting the vote? 'Cause I,
Oh. Yeah. I gotta
all right,
get
we're still, everything's still on, because I was waiting to hear the
Get out
vote.
the muter.
Okay,
How's him?
so are we still waiting on the vote?
Yeah. Well. Shoot. Did you kill the meeting?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Can I?
Well, or at least mute her. That way.
Well, I need to kill the meeting
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're ready to
Sounds so
go in,
violent.
so is that okay?
That sounds so violent.
I know, right? Are you waiting for the vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can you somehow?
Kill your speaker on one of them.
Okay. She says aye.
Okay, so 5-0, thank you. So the meeting will resume at 9:55.
Tough sword. Tough.
Yeah, looks like equipment up there, start higher than clear.
Do we need another 5 minutes or so? Guys, do we need another
I
5?
think.
This conference will now be recorded.
I think we can accept what's been presented to us. That we can go back in for further discussion later, I mean, if we need to.
Right.
Unless somebody, there's gonna be a vote taken, we'll take a vote on this.
Thank you.
Yep.
She hasn't said exactly, something in house.
Oh, okay. Don't you want to get both of that?
No, not on the county, no. Okay.
This meeting recorded yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear it either.
But it is.
Yes.
Okay.
I can double check
Alright.
it, but.
Out of executive session, no action taken. Give me a second. Getting back on here.
It is recording.
Okay. Trying to verify that Diane's back on.
I saw her,
Okay.
but I don't see it. Yes.
Okay, Diane's back on. So, go ahead.
I would make a motion to accept with regret, but make a motion to accept the resignation presented us by the Marion County Appraiser. Effective August 31st, that's what she's requested, and let's just leave it at that until, let's cover that first.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Got a second by Diane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
Now, for discussion, I'd like the commission to take under consideration that we've been offered some assistance with Lisa, and at the time we make some decisions on down the road, maybe get back with Lisa and let her know, so she understands, and we can come up with that later. But thank you for offering some assistance going down the road, for getting us down the road in the appraiser's department.
Absolutely.
That would require an agreement or?
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah.
So,
I will, I mean, like I said, you guys can come up with anything. I'm willing to help in any manner that I can. And again, I just hope you guys know how appreciative I have been and how much I have enjoyed the time here.
Just so the public knows, Lisa, the way you presented to us, this is a personal decision. That's
Absolutely.
just for your convenience and new the rest of the life that you're gonna attempt to go after. So.
Yes.
So-
I moved here and a couple of you definitely know of some troubles that hit the way on the way after being here for a
Yes.
short amount of time, and have moved forward with life, and definitely this has been a wonderful place to be, to live, and to serve in, and I hope to continue that with you all in some manner.
And as I said, with regret, but congratulations on a new start on something else. So
Thank you.
And if we need you, like to have you aboard.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Lisa,
Yes.
it's been such a pleasure working with you. I can't express how much I appreciated your service and quality that you brought to the county.
I appreciate that. I have, like I said, I've completely enjoyed it. Just so you guys know, out of 96.5 points on your compliance, we got 96.5, so we are at 100% this year. So the office is in extremely great standing, just so y'all do know that.
And we appreciate the efficiencies and the cost savings that you brought to the
Yes.
department, so.
Yes. Like I said, if
Not a
there's
lot.
anything I can do to continue to help you, let me know.
Okay.
Be more than happy to.
That brings a point up now. I don't know how, I didn't look specifically at your budget.
Mhm.
We may need to look at her budget, because if we don't come to terms and get things done that Lisa has done, we may have to hire an outside consultant. Who was the firm we hired before you come?
You guys were with McCauley and Associates.
McCauley and Associates, yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's a possibility that we may need to do, and the budget may not allow that. I mean, we may have to look at that, but you're under the general budget, so we can.
Yes.
She's actually not
No,
under the
she's not.
general, but I think that there should be sufficient monies there, and if it does come into a situation, you can pay from the general fund if there are
Oh,
expenses beyond the budget.
Okay, thank you, Tina.
And I think we ought to have some dialogue with Dickinson County just to make sure that,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
this is satisfactory with them, you know, and then look at some different things
Yeah.
down the road.
And I visited them down.
So you can access our system remotely.
Yes,
Easily.
that's the other thing I mean, I want to definitely have you guys know is I can access Marion County's information at this point. I mean, until, you know.
Till we turn you off.
Right, I mean, yeah, obviously if you pull the plug, I can't, but I mean, at this point, I can work anywhere. I mean,
Right.
and actually, Dickinson County even offered that if it wasn't, you know, if they were at a slow time and I needed something to, you know, I had something here that was due or needed done, they had no problem with me doing it there. I mean, they're very willing to work because they know what it's like to not have that person
Yeah.
in there, so.
Cool.
Okay.
They know what they did to us.
They know, yes, we had, yeah, I made the comment to them, I've never applied or left a position that I truly loved before, and if I'm selected, I'm gonna be doing that, so I said that heartfelt to them, and I mean it to you as well.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right, Bryce? There he is.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi there.
All right, take her away.
Got a short and sweet for me today. I have a utility permit there for signature.
Yeah. And is permit number 2020-15 for Marion County Rural Water District number 4. They're gonna bore a case under 140th, 3 foot west of 1878, 140th. Make a motion to approve. Second by Randy. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
Zoning.
Okay.
Yep.
The only other thing that I had was, unfortunately, KDOT responded back with comments on the plans for the Nighthawk project, and they're going to require us to use, or to get a KDHE land disturbance permit and other issues that need to be addressed with permits. So unfortunately, that means due to the length of time to get those permits, I'm afraid we won't be able to do the Nighthawk and 330th projects this year. That's both good and bad, because I'd really like to get the projects done before winter time, but unfortunately with this process, as well as the double chip seal, it's very it's more susceptible to moisture and cold temperatures, and unfortunately that's only going to get worse from now until the end of the year. I was also most of the people that I talked to about getting this project done they were a little leery about trying to get it done yet this year with the amount of work. So unfortunately, due to the permits and that issue, we'll pretty much have to let that this fall, and then get the project done next year. With that being said, I think we'll get better prices that way, simply because anytime there's a big push or shove, or they have to get 2 crews with it or whatever else, it's going to cost us more money. So that gives us more time to get our materials. We can either let it still have the contractor bring them in, or whether we can get them ourselves. But unfortunately, that's just the best engineering to make, is we just wait till next year, and then we're going to get we'll be more assured of getting a better product that way. So I wish it wasn't personally. I mean, it'd be nice to get that done, but it means some extra work for us over the winter time. But I still feel that's the best way to go.
Okay.
So,
Bryce?
But yes.
With that being said, don't put off those culverts or anything like that we have alongside these roads. They need to be in, they need to be started to be compacted and stuff like that, because we've made the mistake before putting, not you, but putting culverts in and then coming right back over and blacktop, and then they have the divot. So I'm just,
Sure.
Is that your feelings, or tell me if I'm wrong?
No, that's not a problem. Going through the late this fall and winter time, I think we can do that fairly quickly. And actually, the guys made the same thing. As they've done several different ways of backfilling, anywhere from dirt to aggregate to flowable fill, and that's something that you always face with doing work like that. But yes, you are correct. The sooner we do them and get them covered up, the more chance we have to get the settlement taken out of them, and then we can get them covered up. And then the more they settle out, the better this process would be going over the top of them. So hopefully we can get rid of that situation. So yes, I agree with you. That's something that we can do, and I think we can do it fairly quickly. It's just a matter of getting where we can get all of our patching and chip sealing and stuff like that done. So we can get that done during a good time. And that was the other, I forgot about that too. We are up on Pawnee and up around the reservoir now with the chip sealing. Barring any problems, we should finish tomorrow with chip sealing. By the time we convert everything back over to blade patching, we'll probably start blade patching next week. And we're going to try to work up, going up Remington and up towards Ramona on Quail Creek and 340th into Lost Springs. So we'll be working on that probably 4 to 5 weeks at least. So
Bryce, is there anything in the interim we can do on 330th? It really, I was down it last week. It's dangerous.
Well, that's what I was talking about before. There's a lot of things. We were really trying to hold off, to try to get this process going through there. But yeah, we're going to have to go in and do, whether it's even with rock or coal mix, whatever else, just to get it through the winter time, because I don't want to have to work with that any more than we have to going through the winter time for safe travel.
Wouldn't it be safer just to tear it up?
Between now and then, the biggest problem we're going to be is, do I go in and do that ahead of blade patching or whatever else? Tearing it up, as in with the bow mag, or just ripping it up with the motor graders and things like that. I don't think you'd get any better product than what we have. And like I said, unless we use that bow mag, which would be a matter of trying to rent one and get one in here. So, I mean, that would be definitely one alternative, but we turn around and spend a lot of effort back on that.
Well, isn't part of that wouldn't be that part of that, project be tear it up anyway?
Yeah, it would be, but the thing is, we wouldn't be adding the cement in with it. And the whole process of basically, like I said, we'd have to use the bow mag to get it ground up, small enough material we could put it back down, because if we just ripped it up with our blades and things like that, it wouldn't break it up as small as what it would be there. Plus, I don't know how it would respond to getting tore up that way, because being so wet underneath there, I don't know if it would dry out or stabilize enough to go through the winter time to be able to support traffic either. So that's one of the good things about working with that process with mixing it up and putting cement in there. That should take out a lot of that moisture.
Thank you for saying that, Bryce. I appreciate that, because I happen to know that if with the amount of traffic that's on that road, just to tear it up and take it back to raw, even if it's for a couple months, it's just not a good idea in my opinion, nor the people that live up there on that road. So I appreciate you agreeing with that and not considering that process.
And again, I mean, if it's something that as a commission you want me to do, I'll sure do it. But I just think, as far as engineering, safety, and traffic speaking, I think that we can deal with it in other ways without going to that. Because tearing that thing up for 5 miles is still going to take, you know, a couple weeks to try to get it back into reasonable shape for the winter time. And again, that's probably the biggest thing that we face, is we wouldn't know what it would perform like through the winter time, not knowing, you know, how much moisture we're going to get in cold weather. We can go in there and maybe throw in some rock in places and maybe put some cold mix patching on it. And I think we'd have a better roadway there until next year if we did that.
Thank you.
Oh.
So,
Bryce,
yes.
I strongly disagree. Yes, I know people don't like a road tore up, but I've watched our county boys, and it would cost us more money to go in there and tear it up with bow mag and put rock on and mix in. But you got to build a base somehow, and even, you know, that I'm at some point in time, where do we, if we spend the amount of money on the blacktop putting back on to patch back in this year, does that match the amount of rock money we would spend on after it was torn up, the bow mag money? I think it'd be a little more expensive that way. But even at that, even if we let the contract, can't the contractor come back in, lay that out, then add the cement back in with that and rebuild it when they come through then? I mean, if it's going to be next year, and traffic safety is pretty important, and I know what I said last week, I've seen all of our blacktops really just take a beating this last 30 days, and I think safety is going to be a pretty big issue for us to decide which way we want to go here.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The thing we would face is if the county forces went in there and we rented a bow mag to go in and mix it up, we would not have the opportunity to put the cement in there when we mix it up. Now, I understand what you're saying, but the other thing that whether we go with a contractor to do that, if we go in and mix it up for the winter time, whether we do or they do, the biggest advantage we're going to have is adding that cement back in there to help that material set up and get rid of some of that moisture. If we have a contractor come in and do that and just mix it up, just to say we're going to mix it up, it would be better than what we would do with county forces. But the biggest advantage we need to do is get the moisture working for us there. And if we go in there and mix that and don't put the cement in there and wait till next year, we're still not going to be as good as what we would be by adding the cement right away. Now, there's two ways of doing this. Some of the contractors go through and mix it up, mix the cement in with it on one time, and then lay it back down. The other option is go there and mix it up, and then they come back and add the cement to it, and then they remix it. Either way, the second approach is actually very beneficial because it mixes the material up twice and gets air and the cement spread around a little better. Either way is acceptable according to the specs. But again, it comes down to the fact is we need to do something on it, but how far as a commission do you want us to go? Trying to get a contractor just mobilized in just to do that work up there with not adding the cement. I don't know if we can do that either. I can sure check into it, and it's what it would cost. Again, it's as a commission, you tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
I'll give you one more alternative here. Why not you have a 5-mile section and you have a 2-mile section on this project? Maybe those 2 sections could be done yet this year, and leave Nighthawk until next spring.
Permits, I think, is what he was getting at.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah,
I'm just
the
throwing
biggest thing is going to be the permits.
Okay.
And they're not going to want to go because I have to turn around and get all this stuff resubmitted back to them, and that's going to be the biggest problem, because the reason that KDOT sets the arbitrary date of September 15th to get the double chip or any chip sealing done is it's obviously so much better to do that while it's hotter and drier.
Okay.
And the reason they don't go any later than that is that they typically that time of year your fall temperatures start falling at night. You don't get as much sunshine. The road. It's just a good time. Now, another option which we had discussed about was this decision to hold out till next year was based on getting the double chip seal done and moisture and stuff like that. Is we could turn around and do an overlay on. But we're probably talking another $3 million to put overlay on everything. But that would allow us to go farther into year to get this done. So that's another option there too. But the problem is if we get them to come in and do the 7 miles or whatever the case may be without Nighthawk, the biggest cost is just the mobilization and getting them in here. I would say a large cost is a mobilization to get them in here to do that. And it actually costs us more in the long run if we have to turn around and remobilize them next year.
And I'm not going to argue at that point, and the weather, I'm not going to argue that point. But traffic safety, what's the best for us, and what's the best way to spend our money?
Yeah, I think.
Well, and that's like I said, as far as doing what I feel is the best choice is waiting to do it all next year and getting a good product. But I would love to say that we could push the envelope and bypass KDOT specs and say, yeah, we're going to go back in and try to do chip seals into October, November. Well, we would be in the same situation where if we went in and did the cement treated or the full depth reclamation with cement and didn't get it covered up, we'd be in the same situation. We'd have a road falling apart to fix it unless we overlaid it.
So I somewhat see what you're saying. I just want to throw all the options out there for the commission so they hear just what you're thinking.
Yeah. Well, we have.
Sure. It's very frustrating because we
we
didn't get money last year, and then the project that we obviously got award for, due to COVID, was pushed off on that, and then waiting for the award. I mean, just everything just took so much time that it just backed us up against this wall.
Well, as long as you have some plan to address the safety on that road, because it's as bad as anything I've seen.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bryce.
Well, Bryce, I would like to ask you a question if I could. First off, I would like to remind the commission too that 330th from Highway 15 West was in even worse shape than what this one is. Although this one is, as everybody says, very unsafe. But that road on going west was even worse, and we never just dug it up and took it back to rock. That was not an option that we used. Secondly, I would like to ask Bryce, what are the certificates that they're requesting? Is it something that you need to study and get, or is it, could you just elaborate just a little bit on the needed certificates?
Well, the permits, basically it says, their comment was for full depth reclamation of the roadway and replacement of drainage structures will likely disturb more than 1 acre and require a KDHE land disturbance permit. So then we also need to talk about stormwater pollution. the problem with that is typically if all we did was just replace the pipe culverts, pretty much exactly where they are, no digging out, no widening you have to, is that my thought was we would only disturb the ends a little bit and, it wouldn't be a big issue. But KDOT in their permitting process actually includes the entire area of the excavation, including the roadway, as part of that permit. So even though it doesn't, a road or whatever else other than the ends outside the pavement, that whole area is considered by them as part of the disturbance. So again, anything over the 1 acre requires that permit. I wasn't really pushing for any big horizontal or vertical control because honestly, the way that road is out there now, it's all over the place. I was just concerned about getting the process done, but now they want to come back and they want to do some sort of official horizontal horizontal and vertical control out there. So we're gonna have to figure out what's going on with that too. Like I said, all things considered, we probably could have dealt with that, but these permits typically take a minimum of 45 days.
Yeah.
And again, until I get that permit, I couldn't get it resubmitted. Then we have to turn around and advertise for 2 weeks. Even if we award it right away, we're probably at best the end of August or 1st of September. There's no way they can get this project done in that 2 weeks time, even if they were right there. So it's frustrating, to deal with this, but when you work with state and or federal money, this is what they require and this is what you have to fulfill.
Okay, thank you, Bryce.
Yep.
Commissioner Novak, I beg your pardon. You stated something that's not true. We did a lot of roads up there. There's a lot of roads we did up there. The one west from Tampa West, it was laid with rock and stayed rock. When we come back and decided to put 6 inches on top of it, they used our base that we had laid. So don't state that, please.
So, Mr. Dawkey, let me correct you, because I didn't say anything about the Tampa Road. I said 330th from Highway 15 west.
West, okay.
I never said a word about Tampa to Highway 15, so you're talking something entirely different than what I mentioned.
Okay, all righty.
Okay.
Want to make sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce. Is there anything else? We need to move this
Nope,
along.
that's all I had, and like I said, unless you guys want to give me a different direction, I would, I would definitely look into that. I just, like I said, we will go up there, like I said, if we're done with chip sealing tomorrow, we can spend more time going back and coming up with a plan on that. We've got the same issue with a terrible road up around Ramona, for about 2 miles south of there. So we're gonna have to spend some significant time up there too. So we will do our best to make the best we can for winter time for the traveling public.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thanks, Bryce.
Yeah, and
All right, thanks.
make sure you get the railroad to take care of their obligation on 290th, because they destroyed a big chunk of it in the last week.
Yeah, I know, and I still think they're, I haven't got back, or they haven't called me back yet, but I would imagine they're probably gonna go there and remove all that rock too, which means a lot of trucks coming out there.
They
too,
have.
so.
They've already removed it and got it stockpiled.
We have,
Oh, they did, okay.
we have Randy Purdue sitting here, so thanks, Bryce. I'm gonna move it on.
Okay, all right, thanks.
How are we doing this morning?
Pretty good, Randy.
All right.
So I wanted to come, one, take eyes, look at the project, and two, sit down and chat with you guys about 2 change orders that we're wanting to submit. Change order number 4 is cost of materials for when they did the underground electrical connection for the city. The wire size on their end was not what was expected, and you were.
It's a city?
Yes, the city side of the wire was not what was expected, and due to that, some specialty connectors had to be purchased, put in. Contractor stated, no extra labor. This is strictly a material charge for, I should have this, $9,870.54. Which which it took, they actually had to delay doing the second leg. They temporarily hooked it up and then had to delay multiple weeks to get these items shipped in.
Is that feasible?
Oh,
Is that feasible?
yeah, I mean, they're talking about 7,200 volt connections.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all, and by all rights, I mean, he's doing us a pretty big solid by not charging any labor, because it's pretty intensive to land all those.
I mean, in theory, the original bid would have been one hookup, and in theory, they did it twice because they had to go back during the second swap and fix however they temporarily hooked it up. They had to go back in and then hook it up permanently with these new connectors. So that is what change order 4 was. And if you have the full documents. We supplied what they supplied to us for exactly what the fitting was and that
So
sort of item.
did the city supply us information that wasn't correct?
Yeah, that was where they verbally stated what their wire size was. From my understanding, the size that was stated to us and the size it was would look a lot alike until you got it.
Right. So you got within close enough distance where you don't want to be where it's live.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't know it until it's shut down.
So is this gonna get the county off the hook on the power outages in Marion?
We are done.
Well, no more, county isn't blamed anymore.
Yes, where the work is
Well,
complete. Well,
There's a splice area down there that was originally hit, but that splice is blown apart a couple times from what I understand.
oh,
And that's not due to us. We hit it originally, but every time it's went out on the 2400 is what we're talking
But
about.
they're blaming the county.
Yeah, I know, but just to clear the air,
I know.
we
You could go on
tagged the
record.
ground the first time.
And so now they've given us wrong information that's costing us another 10 grand?
So
Yes.
yeah, and
What's that?
that's they gave us the one lines. Is that the proper document?
Yeah.
And from my understanding, it wasn't clearly stated on the one lines, and we went from verbal, and it was one of those where I think they've changed an electrical engineer in the last few years, and they were working on updating the maps, and we did work in the middle of it. So what you're commenting about, I guess I hadn't realized we'd had multiple other outages.
Oh, yeah.
We hit one of their mains because it was
Excavation.
mislocated. It was marked in the
Yeah,
wrong
that's
location,
right.
and we hit it, and then I was unaware. I thought they went back in and fixed it permanently.
It's had a few faults.
I was not aware of it.
Yeah. But I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
You know,
Um,
this here seems completely reasonable to me.
You're
So
the expert.
I would go ahead and make a motion to approve change order number 4 in the amount of $9,870.54.
I'll second it.
And a second by Dave. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Okay, I'm gonna take us on to the next one.
Okay, so then, change order number 5 is for to finish all the soils on the entire site. We had the removal of the foundations earlier in the year. We had removal of contaminated soils, and all of that material was hauled off site, and now we have to have fresh material brought in order to finish construction. The contractor had stated, the subcontractor had stated they wanted partial payment for what they had completed, because it's been a sizable amount of work and a sizable amount of their time. I say there was no way for us to do that until we come up with a final value. And so in order to do that, we'd scanned the site beforehand, and we have the original. Well, we scanned the site when they had it dug out, and we had the original scans. We went through and came up with a final value, total yardage, which we would not be paying them this month for all of this. We'll pay what we have
calculated to be in place for this month. But this would be the final value for completing the entire site. I do have it right here, which is a change order for $141,141,052.16. This, we removed most all of one line item because that was on-site material that was gonna be placed. Well, there was no on-site material, it all got hauled away. So that line item went away, all except for 300 yards. The remainder, and then we added some working days due to the extra amount of material beyond what we originally calculated would be placed. And that's what this is, should be the final, this is the total tally for the money required to finish the project without any unforeseen items coming up.
What was the total cost on this one?
This one here for the
$141, $52.16.
Yeah. It's a 8,000 or 6,000 cubic yard. It's a very sizable amount of soil that's being hauled in.
So I know that's interested about this.
Should be a second.
Page 74 in your packet
Okay.
is the dollar amounts right in the middle at the top of that page.
So I guess to go with this, because it's directly tied, I don't have final approval from the state, but I've contacted the state about the revolving fund, getting money for the contaminated soils. They came back and stated that we had to have verification that that they were from, the contamination was from in-ground tanks. None of the documentation supplied to Call Valley Engineering by the county and or the city, I'm not really sure where it came from, with our historical documents, none of them clearly state that there was in-ground tanks. I've been in contact with Rex Savage, submitted early last week a stated documentation from him that location of in-ground tanks, there are items on the plans that are marked, they just don't state what they are. So he went ahead and wrote out, this is what these items are. If the state comes through on supplying us, that will pretty well eliminate this change order. But I have not heard anything from them, and then was also going to state to you guys that if you know of anybody that has information that about in-ground tanks that was on that site.
Nothing was on the original plans?
No, we have incomplete original plans from the section where the in-ground tanks were, and like I said, they're marked on certain documents, but they're not stated what they are. So Rex went ahead and said, well, I know what these were, and gave me a written affidavit that stated that what they were. And I chatted with the state. They said that they wanted to see that documentation before they continue to move forward in any manner. So, but it was just submitted early last week.
Well, you know, depending on whether we can get any money out of that revolving fund, we're gonna have to start looking at cuts. We're gonna have to, because we can't be dipping into general fund on these kind of items in order to get this thing done. We're gonna start making cuts. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I'm just trying to put a number together, somewhere between, with this change order will be.
I have totals, is that what?
Yeah.
Total added to the project is 190,923, which is just over 10%, under 11% of the
Right,
project.
that's what I was finding, it was just under 11%. And our contingency that we agreed we were gonna cover was 10%. And that's pretty well a pretty good dream with most projects. Normally your contingency runs about 20 to 30.
Yeah, but we got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more.
So, right now we are sitting at our limit that we agreed to at the beginning with this change order.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just like the cost of soil, are we just paying market, or is a contractor getting bids for soil, or? I mean, I don't know if 2641 is a good price or not.
A lot of that was screenings.
Screening,
It is.
whatever that material is we use.
And that is it, purchased, hauled to site, and placed. 2140 or 2641 was what their bid item for that same material, because we had some of that material anyway part of the contract, so
I
that.
mean, based on what we pay, that seems pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But just
That's what pays
purchased
for hard rock.
or purchased and placed.
Right, you see, there's no thought of travel, haul, all that.
This is
Purchase.
hauled to site, and then on top of that, put into place as a compacted final product is what all is in that price.
Right.
You know,
So you
it-
factored up the haul, and you factored up on our situation, the grader, if you would, even though you have an estimator.
Yeah, yeah.
but just saying, a lot of those costs aren't associated with our purchase per ton that we figure, so.
Yep.
And also on those working days, I agree that, there's probably 14 days lost for that they had to be down, but I wouldn't be in agreement to add for any kind of weather days. Weather happens in Kansas.
So let me explain, that was the whole point of me showing up, was this question, it's questions like this. So, the reason we added 4 days for May is our specs call out a general, time frame that, number of days in a month that are lost to weather. And it's, every month has so many days. So for the month of May, we surpassed that number by 4, and that's where they were saying there was an egregious amount of weather that month, and that's why there's no other months listed, and to this point there won't be any other months because July was taken care of. August hasn't been any kind of weather related. So that's where those 4 working days come from, was because we surpassed what the typical month would supply, and I believe they're feeling crunched on their.
I think that's part of the risk of being in construction.
I mean, you expect it, you expect them, because there's gonna be some.
They are factored in.
They've been factored in.
They've
They're.
got weather delays
Yeah.
factored in, it's just this went beyond those weather delays.
Yeah, I would have to look what May, I believe May was 8 days, and they lost 12 working days to weather. This contract is a hard deadline, so it's 250 days. It is not working days, it's just 250 days to get the job done. And so when they felt they lost an egregious amount of time that month,
I don't see them working any weekends.
then they,
So I can't buy that.
Head Construction's been down there on the weekends, cement work. I've been some Saturday mornings. I don't know what this all is, but
I am unaware of how many Saturdays or Sundays off the top of my head that they work. We have the reports.
Yeah.
I know from the electrician's side of things, working through the middle of the night to try to accommodate for power outages and stuff like that. I hate to demean anybody, and that just sounds demeaning. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I believe the last power outage was done Friday night into Saturday, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Saturday morning, I believe was the last time. But,
last up till noon.
yeah,
That's what
Details.
happens.
yeah.
Was any of the power outages due, couldn't let them work then? Was that some of the, did they put that on weather?
No,
Okay.
no.
I have, is everybody done with this side? Okay. Randy, I visited the site here the other day, and one of the big things that we stressed to you was the angle going to the pit to where we could come down the side and then go right to the pit.
Yes.
I see the pit down there, or the wall, and I suppose, is that gonna stay at that angle? Or are we gonna do something different between now and at the end? On the south side of the building, where we're gonna have people throw things in, later on, not right now, I mean later on, it will be when the building's done.
Okay.
And we'll have the 2 doors are there, I believe, for
Yes.
people to throw things in.
Yes.
But then we stress that we'd like to be able to come down along there with a machine and hit an angle and go right to the hole with the material.
Yes.
And so that angle right now looks like it won't work. And I'm not gonna knock it till after I'm just bringing it to your attention.
I think I know exactly what cutout you're talking about, where the 4-foot wall ties into the column.
Yeah.
Caught my eye on my walkthrough this morning.
I'm just being a machine operator. Right now, what we have is going to cause us a lot of push back up. I don't think you're going to be able, or else you're going to ride the left brake and try turning the machine in there, and it's going to get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to caution the commission that something we do now, even though I see this change order now, Kent, I see another one coming, and I talked to Cody that we can do something, I think, to get a better angle down there. If it comes to it, we're going to try it out while we're dumping. You know,
I thought that was in the original plan.
It was, and I thought it looked like a lot of angle, but when you go down there and look at it, Kent, it's not a lot of angle, and that's my concern.
And more, my concern isn't the angle, because they're going to be running that wall a lot of times with the skid steer.
Yeah.
Is we've wound up with a 45 that jogs over 90 for about 8 inches and then catches that wall. And so we've got we've got about an 8-inch corner there that caught my eye and made me look at it and go, boy, that's going to catch. It's not going to be easy to clean out. You're going to be over there with a hose or something. The other part of what you're saying, I don't.
Somewhere.
I think that corner would be doable with the skid steer pretty easily if it wasn't for that notch set back right there.
But if well, wait a minute now. That's with the skid steer. Take that John Deere backhoe
that John Deere backhoe with the backhoe out. You're gonna turn and hit.
You're gonna hit everything, and it's just an ugly looking situation. I hope it comes out better than what I see. So keep that in mind.
I will keep that in mind. We'll have to look and see what it's going to take.
The other side isn't that way yet, is it? It's not.
The other side is complete, however it's going to be. It winds up different because the wall is set in.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't have the same on both sides.
I don't want to build something that's not machine friendly.
Yep.
But you want it to be right.
Can you make a round corner instead of
It needs to
squares?
be, I mean, you're in it for this much money.
Yes.
It needs to be right.
Right, and so.
Yeah, and we have a set push wall that goes, a steel push wall that goes inside of that. We'll address it. We'll take a look at it and see what will it take to fill that little groove in and make.
I'm not talking about 8 inches now.
Make the concrete be rounded.
I wanted you to go to look at McPherson County. That McPherson County, you walk right down through there and they can turn and go right into the pit. It's just smooth, seamless, and gets the job done. And that's what I was hoping for, and I'm not seeing it right now at this point. So it may work better, and I may have to go run a machine and try it. But I just don't see it right now, especially the backhoe.
Well, we have a change order number 5 on the table.
I will make a motion to go ahead and pay change order 5 and to add 14 days to the calendar to the contract instead of 18. I will make that motion with the comment that we need to start thinking about what kind of cuts we're going to have to make on this if we do not get revolving fund money. And that may have to be determined soon.
We have a motion on the table.
I'll second
A second by Dave. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
it.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. So, can't really
Can you just cross that out?
cross out the 18 and the 4. Oh,
That's all I have. I appreciate you voicing your concerns.
Thank you,
We'll
Randy.
take a look into that, and otherwise I was down there and I think,
Looking good.
yeah, that's everything, sometimes the 3D world and a 2D sheet don't always line up perfectly. I think that's the statement about.
That's what you call field engineering.
It was brought to my attention by a worker that there is one more concern.
Okay,
The north wall on the north side, the pit wall, is it at the right angle, or is it where it's supposed to be? And I have not physically laid my eyes on it. The worker just mentioned it to me. They're worried about their semi getting in and out due to the angle of the wall. I have not addressed this, Randy. I don't know what.
of the drive down.
Drive down, yes, yeah. And take a look at that, because they're worried about having to lay their cab right up against the cement.
Get close, yeah. And
To-
we use the turning feature on AutoCAD, and it showed that it worked. So we'll have to check and make sure that,
Pretty late now in the ballgame, because it's there. But if we've done that to our employees, why, we just expect trouble. Yeah, and that's just their viewpoint right now. They haven't drove down it, they haven't done nothing like that, they're just looking.
just looking at it.
Yeah,
Yep.
so, take a look at that too, please.
Okay, yep, we'll do.
Thank you, Randy.
Yep.
Thank you, Randy.
Good day.
All right. Is Sharon around? There she is.
Good morning.
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 How are you? Good.
Color coordinated, black with the.
You know, I have a bunch of different colored ones, but
Yeah.
that would have been a little much today.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to request an executive session for attorney-client business with Brad and the board.
Purpose would be litigation.
Litigation, potential, ongoing.
Kind of a mixture of.
Yeah, it's litigation.
It's just
Yeah,
litigation.
It has active elements to it and potential
Okay.
additional.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss item number 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege for litigation for a time of
15 minutes, probably.
I would think.
I'm gonna go for 20.
So Brad might want to talk.
Yeah. So with Brad, Sharon, and the board, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Second by Kent. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0. We resume back to 11:10.
Okay. All right, we'll be back at 11:10.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Out of executive session, no action taken. I think just move on.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
So, I'll have to give it a minute, because I'm sure everybody's still logging back in. Oh, I am. Yeah. Diane's back on. So.
Gloria, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay. All right, very good. So we're moving on to that part with the SCED CPDG application review.
Can you send one of those down the road?
Yep. Send it down.
I'll leave it like that corner out there, and then we'll have to fight over it.
Did you get my updated list?
Yeah, we just handed it out.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right.
Are we ready, or?
Yes, yes, you can go ahead and begin.
Okay. I'm getting echoing in here.
Don't know if it's me or.
It's quite a bad echo.
So anyways, as you all know, that we, Marion County, the city of Marion and Hillsborough both received grants, so that eliminated a whole bunch of applications. And I sent what was left that was actually in Marion County, that wasn't in the city of Marion or Hillsborough, but, and I left the denials on here just so you know who they are. But as you can see, a little off the top was approved by us. The pharmacy was approved. The one, I'm not sure how you say his name. Hajak or whatever. The only reason I have a little problem with him is because he provided the employee verification forms, and 4 of them are owners, and 3 out of the 4 are over the income limit. And then he did provide 2 employees, which I think are only part-time, that did qualify. But if you look at the rules, technically, if he has employees, then those are what qualifies him. So technically, he does qualify, but I was a little uncomfortable. I didn't know if you want to discuss this, because the owners are main employees there, truly. So it's however you want to look at it. Technically, they do qualify. If that's how you want to just look at it, then that's fine. But then also, the Hewitt and Oil Gas, they did not qualify because they just took the business over March 1st, and I called Dustin with Kansas Department of Commerce, they wouldn't qualify. So he said no to that one. Even though that she said she could have gotten previous history of the business, but since they just took, it's like a new business, so. Pardon me? And the pizza place, that one was good, the rural route was good. The restaurant, I've never received anything back from those people as of yet. That's the only one down here that I didn't receive anything back from.
What are you still missing?
Everything from her, she never sent, or him or her, whatever it is. All we have is an application on them.
Okay.
But like I said, everybody else is, like, unless it's a direct no, and the question mark one, they're good to go as far as the eligibility.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't have a copy of what you're looking at there. Can you just kind of go through that list for my sake?
Of the list, that's what I just kind of went through.
But I didn't hear you list like the family shoe business. Is that on there? In Pilsen?
Yeah, it did qualify, but it wasn't on the list because it came in late, but I did look at that one this morning, and it is good. Yeah.
Sam the Shoe's the only one that's missing from the list. Should have put it on there. We just got the stuff today, or I don't remember today. Yeah, I think Sherry sent it over today. But I did review it, and that one is good.
And then
I'll put it on the list and resend it to you, the list.
Okay,
Sure,
and then I assume that the mobile farm did not qualify, am I correct?
No farms have qualified, correct.
Okay.
And
And
you have
the
a list.
So the question on the hikes, you're saying technically they do qualify, but are you saying because some of the owners are actual employees, which I know that is a common practice in businesses, especially S corps and things like that?
Right, there's 4 family members that work there, which is the majority of the employment. And which 3 out of the 4 are over the income limit based on the third. And the 2 employees that aren't owners are part-timers. So, I mean, it's however you want to look at it. Technically, if you base it off of their employees, other than owners, they qualify.
Okay, so what are you, as the person that we hired to do this for us, what are you recommending in this case?
I guess I felt a little uncomfortable about it because of the fact that the majority of them, if you look at the majority of all the people employed there, they are over income. So, or it's kind of really half and half, 3 are and 3 aren't. So, I mean, technically by the rules, they would qualify.
Is that what we go by then, the rules?
That's what I would go by always, because that's the rules. We don't, like the rule is that if they didn't have any employees, we would have to base it off of the owner's income. But since they do actually have employees, 2 part-time employees, and the 2 part-time employees qualify, that qualifies the company, technically.
Okay, so is that where we're gonna stand on that, or what?
That's where I would go if it was my choice, yes.
Okay.
But I just wanted to make you aware of that, so.
Understand.
On these amounts, where did we come up with the amounts on those?
We didn't.
No, that's what I'm wondering, because, there's one of them here that's 3,000, what's that based on?
Sometimes it's their application.
Oh, that's what they put on their application. I was told to go back and change. If someone only asked for $3,089, then we should put that on there rather than, I had originally put the standard amount based on how many employees they had.
So added to this list, you say the shoe? The family shoe repair?
The shoe repair shop, yeah.
What amount do they?
Well, it would be, I think it's a 5,000, straight 5,000. They didn't put a dollar amount on there. No, they never indicated, so I would just have put in $5,000 for the family shoe repair, is what it's called.
Sitting at 38 overall.
Yeah.
And what would the amount be for the hikes? Did they put in an amount? I don't think they did, or am I wrong?
No, I do not believe they had an amount on theirs hikes.
Okay.
I didn't put it on there since, well, let me look. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, they're in the decline section. No, they did not put an amount on there.
So what would you recommend for them?
That was
the oil and gas, please?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
Those
Oh,
are
they
the-
got 5,000 on here, but technically, they only have 2 employees, so that would be what you guys based your office, they would be at 5,000 is what I have in the spreadsheet. I keep forgetting you don't have your spreadsheet in front of you.
Okay, thank you.
Gloria, if somebody put this 3,000 on there, what that specific amount, but yet others didn't, so we don't know whether they're wanting that or less, so should we treat everybody the same?
Well, the amounts,
I would have treated everybody the same.
the maximums that
But then again, the thing you gotta remember is they have to provide receipts for everything they're asking, all the, you know, we say if they can have 5,000, they gotta come up with $5,000 in receipts too, so.
Okay, well,
Right, and you as a board set that limit of 5,000 for
Correct,
the
correct,
number of
correct.
employees, and 10,000. So
right, yeah.
that'd be the maximum.
So we wouldn't want to, just by that point right there, we wouldn't want to go bumping them to $5,000. And
No,
it might put a
no.
stress on them that they weren't planning on.
Right.
Right. I just was under the assumption that maybe they was putting exactly, but yes, some didn't put it on because they really didn't have the receipts for that. And so, yet we're going to 5,000, but now Gloria said we gotta have the receipts.
And when you do your award, you can say, you know, awarding up to the maximum for these businesses.
Yeah.
You know, and then depending on what receipts they turn in is how much they would actually get.
Yes.
So are these places that we have the figure, have they actually turned in their receipts? Or that's just the amount they put on the application?
That was a budget, is what they put together based on what
So,
they would need.
so we can't award them until we have the receipts?
No, you have to award them so they can get the receipts.
Yeah, I think you would take the action to award them, and then they would have to comply with the rules to be able to actually receive the funds.
Okay, and then we just open it back up again around number 2?
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, we'll need to provide the receipts when we actually request the funds, so we have to have the receipts up
Right.
front to request the funds.
Right, but we can go ahead and
We have to
award
send
it.
them in to them.
Gloria, on the Satchmo Sit LLC Coneberg Inn, why 10,000 there? Wouldn't they be back to the 5,000 just like every other business? that
As they have more employees.
They have a lot of employees,
Okay.
according to their application.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
They have, they are over,
Is
the
that-
they
you
got
said $5,000 limit?
7
They
employees.
said
so-
5,000 from 1 to 5.
Oh, 1 to 5.
And
Yep, yep.
10,000 from 6 to 50
Okay.
or
Yeah,
something.
based on employees.
So,
So we just need to go ahead and make the award.
yes, I would go ahead and make a motion to award all of Gloria's recommendations.
Object.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah, all the recommendations here, so everyone with a dollar value plus the shoe, the shoe repair.
If the Coneberg does it.
Yeah. We can't approve the Coleman without information.
So,
The heights also on that, Jonah?
yes, they are.
Thank you. I
They're-
don't see it yet, thank you.
They're, they got a question mark under eligible though, so I guess I need to rephrase.
She told us about the 3 brothers.
Right. So,
She says.
Yeah, there's 4 brothers actually, or 4, whatever it is.
So, high-
That's the one I didn't know. Yeah.
so you're not sure that they're eligible?
It's up to us, she says they're eligible, but she just wanted our blessing.
Based on the rules, they would qualify, yes.
Okay. And same with, Satchmo?
I have yet to look
Well,
at-
that's why I don't know, because they haven't provided anything to us yet,
Haven't done
the
it.
restaurant.
There's no paperwork.
Yeah.
No, I haven't received anything back from them, so they need to fill in, but I need their tax returns and stuff like that.
Okay.
And their employee certification forms. I think they sent some, but I don't know, one, all we have is one, we've never gotten any more.
Okay. Well, I'll need to rescind my motion because so I will
6 of them.
make a new motion to go ahead and approve for a little off the top at 5,000. CK Pharmacies LLC at 3,800 or 3,089.63 cents. Pike Enterprises at 5,000. Pizza Rays at 5,000. Rural Route Relics at 5,000. And
Shoe repair.
yeah, Family Shoe Repair at 5,000. Got a second by Kent. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I abstain.
So there was only 4?
Okay, there's
Only
4
4?
with 1 abstention.
6.
There were
No, no,
6
no,
businesses.
The vote,
No.
vote
Vote.
is 4 with 1 abstention.
I abstain. Abstain.
Okay, do you have the
Oh,
reason?
no, I was asking if there was only 4 people.
Yeah, my sister works for CK Pharmacy.
Okay.
6.
So 6, oh yeah, so we have 1, 2,
You have 6.
3, 4, 5,
6.
6.
Thank you.
So do you want me to provide a letter now to each of these and let them know they were awarded, and then, that they need to provide receipts at this point, and I will send these letters over to Sherry to print on the county letterhead, and she can mail them out,
Yeah.
but I can put a letter together if you want.
Yes, please. The,
Okay.
and then we will not need to discuss, another round. And, or, you know, what we go, what else we do if
I think we just need to open it up for another round.
Open it up again for 2 more weeks or 3
and are we
weeks.
going to maintain the same dollar amounts?
Yes.
5?
I don't think it would be really fair to
Yeah,
not
change
do,
it down.
at least not to go up.
Now,
Okay.
as the initial round awardee is, who could
Okay.
feel a little.
Good point taken, Tina, not to go up anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, we can do a third round if we have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we do a second round using the same qualifications and give them 2 weeks to get the applications back,
Same dollar amount?
same dollar amount, same qualifications, dollar amount.
Second.
Got a second by Kent? Discussion?
Yes.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
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 5-0.
Dorothy, can I ask another question?
Yes.
I remember there was, and I probably missed what we said on this, my sound is very bad here, but, I know that the cleaner, the Marion cleaner, they had put in an application. I don't recall hearing anything. Will that come under the city in the future, or is that something went wrong on that one?
They're in the city.
Future.
Yeah, since the
What?
city got their own CDBG grant in Marion and Hillsborough, all those businesses were taken off of our list and put within
Okay,
their,
I
within
didn't
their
hear that.
stockpile.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think
All right,
Marion
thank
got 8 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. So,
Thank you.
Gloria, is there anything else we need to?
No, not at this time, and, I will get the letters over to Cherry to send out to these people and still work with the, restaurant to get what I need from them.
Okay.
Application forms, Tina, here? Here in the office?
we will have them. I don't have them ready to
Okay.
go right now, but,
Okay.
No current ones
right.
as of this morning.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you,
Thank
Gloria.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Now, public comments. I did see some public in the hall, but I haven't seen them for a while, so.
I don't see him either.
I don't see any on the comment section or anybody requesting any time. So I'll go ahead and close that, go on to commission comments.
I've got one. So we've been talking about storage buildings. And there is a building in Marion, Kansas, 9,600 square feet of open space for $125,000. That's $13 a square foot. And buildings in Hillsborough going for $25 a square foot.
Where is that building at?
It is,
No, no,
can't say that?
we don't want to.
Okay.
That would be something that we would want to take into a property acquisition and executive session, because otherwise we'll get, where somebody will bid with us and make a buck, and we don't
Okay.
want that.
I didn't know if council was interested in pursuing that.
If not, man.
Somebody piped in. Oh,
You know, to have room to store all the excess vehicles. We got set around stored, and also there'll be room to make cages so the election stuff to go there, and the PPP products and whatever else the county. So it could be secure.
You said it was 96,000 square feet, right?
9,600.
9,000.
I'm sorry.
9,600.
So you're roughly,
$13 a square foot.
yeah.
Is there any office space?
They built a small office in there. But no, it does have water and lots of electricity. Well,
Lots of electricity.
Lots.
we got lots of plug-in. yeah.
Whenever it's got out?
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Dave.
Some buildings don't.
Right,
I
right.
Yeah, if you built it 20 years ago, only put 2 plug-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think, if we're serious about it, maybe we need to put a discussion about this property on the next agenda.
I mean,
And,
it's not listed today,
right,
but he was getting ready to list it.
yeah, okay,
And there'd be 150 if he listed it.
right. We would need to have it on the agenda and have executive session to discuss of property acquisition. So, thank you, Dave.
Okay.
Just a reminder that the county canvas is Friday at 9, and you all serve as the board of canvassers. So
Is that legit, since all of us?
generally in the past, they always have served. Recently, when the commissioners have been on the ballot, they have designated someone to serve in their place. I think either is correct, but we need to have a board of 5 people here and ready to canvass
A board of
on
5?
Friday.
Since we got 5 commissioners?
That's right.
That's different.
Yeah, so.
Well, you would all have a role.
Right,
Yeah.
right, I understand, it's just different, and get used to it.
I mean, are you saying we should get somebody to appoint, or is it all right for us to be on the board?
Right.
There's no prohibition of you serving on the canvassing board. If you were in a contested race, you may or may not want to, but we need somebody appointed in your place. And that would be the first order of canvass, would be for you to designate your appointments to serve in your place.
You'd want to find that person obviously in advance and have them there.
Right.
So we
That's
don't-
what I did when I.
Okay. Note taken.
So what are we doing?
Well, you either have to sit in yourself or find an appointee to sit in for you. If you're in a contested race, it gives you more emphasis on finding an appointee.
Or you can collectively as a board say, well, anyone who's in a contested race, we'll ask them to find an appointed person to sit in their stead. You want to do it that way?
I think that would be appropriate. I'd make that a motion.
So I'd have to come.
You would still have to be there at 9,
With the
yeah,
other, so it takes 2 people.
to designate, and then you certainly are free to watch.
Yeah, because you would open up as the board of, as your regular board, and your first action would then be to appoint the designees to sit in.
Approve them.
Approve them, yeah. I think Kim was starting to make a
Yeah, I'd
motion.
make a motion to have those that were in contested positions to have an appointee for the canvas board.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Ken, second by Dave. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That means you're on
I heard 3 votes.
Yeah, I got 5-0.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other commission comments? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second. Got a second by Randy. All those in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Have a good week.
You You
You
too.
too.
Keep saying the shoe, family shoe.
Where's Pizza Reeves at?
Burns?
It is?
Yes, but what's that?